Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Muppet Show!
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the light. It's time to meet the Muppets on the Muppet Show tonight.
It's time to put on makeup. It's time to dress up right. It's time to raise the curtain on the Muppet Show tonight.
Good evening, fellow Hunslappers. Before we begin the show, we must interrupt our broadcast for an urgent news flash from outside Ibrox. We shall go on to the end. We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight them on Edmondson Drive. We shall never surrender. And even if, which I do not believe for a moment, follow, or a large part of it were subjugated and starving, then our empire beyond the internet, armed and guarded by Muppets like us, would carry on the struggle, until in the God's good time, the real world, with all its power and might, steps forward to the rescue and the liberation of follow. What a load of pish, But it sums up the mess that Rangers currently find themselves in. For those of you unfamiliar with what has happened, let me help you out. On a day when many held a minute's silence, the poppy-watching monkeys over at Ibrox from the Follow Brigade were displaying new levels of dignity. That's right, on Armistice Day, the internet warriors were going head-to-head with the real Ranger supporters. And they got their cunts well and truly kicked in. Follow regulars decided to hold an anti-Murray demonstration after the game, but were shouted down by the True Blue Ranger supporters. Details are sketchy at this time, but from a reporter at the ground, some first-hand accounts are starting to emerge from them. I've seen the lot of it. The Murray out banner was torn down after being up for no longer than 10 seconds. Some fat guy karate chopped it and tried to square up to one of the protesters. There were loads and loads of people screaming at the protesters. I heard people calling them fiends, traitors, glory hunters, lots of one David Murray chants, etc. I don't know if it's 100% accurate to label the protesters as Neds. I've seen loads of ordinary looking bears dish out hefty abuse at them. The worst was when a guy around 40 shouted, "Get the fuck, you glory hunting fiend scumbags." I could only shake my head at him. Where's your dignity, brother? Can I just say at this point, I am absolutely disgusted at the vile chants directed towards Mr. Murray. He has been great for Rangers and led them to many great things, and I wish the protests would stop now. It's time the Huns started acting like proper Protestants here. Do we suddenly forget all the promises of a tenner for every fiver and the shimmer of moonbeams? Where's their dignity? Fortunately, I had my faith renewed in the human race when I read the Rangers website later today. Rangers fans broke up a small protest against Chairman David Murray after today's win over Dunfermline. A pre-organised demonstration by a small group was overpowered by a larger group of supporters. They ripped a banner away from the protesters and chanted, "There's only one David Murray." The chairman spoke publicly at length yesterday over his support for Paul Le Guen and his commitment to the club. The fans also showed their backing for Le Guen during the Dunfermline game and unfurled a giant banner in his honour at half-time. Just really are in a terrible mess, and this came to a head the other night when demonstrations followed the St Johnstone game. Me? I nearly fell off my chair when I saw some of the images of the cunts gathered outside Ibrox. For fuck's sake, it was like a scene from Michael Jackson's video. You know, the one where the zombies are coming out of the grave? Thriller, that's the name of it. I heard that within 30 minutes the Salvation Army mobile unit was at the ground giving out soup to the mob. Where's their dignity? Talking of dignity, what about this gem from David Murray in the paper this morning? Murray said, "I spoke to the players this morning, but what was said will remain private. I do that every year. In fact, I spend less time with the players than I used to. Please don't look for things that don't exist. I think it's good for me to pass on my experience to the players. We are building a team. That's what I've been good at." Dear oh dear, what does that say about the Rangers team when David Murray's passing on his experience. For fuck's sake, he can't even walk. People, it's been fun, but we have to come to an end. And remember, even although Celtic lost in midweek, we still have our own song. Paul Le Guin's gonna win for goal. Paul Le Guin's gonna win for goal. But before we go, let's remember, there's nothing better than laughing at Rangers.